coming out tonight. I'm fine. I've got plans tonight, but I lied. Now they're putting up a fight, and they're right. Temptation is inside, and I'm right. Come on, turn the volume up louder. Tonight I'm gonna sing it in my head. Start to be a little bit prouder. I hum those songs till I end up dead. Why am I like this and not that? They used to take the piss about bad. I almost took the path that you did, and now you kinda looking stupid. Come on, turn the volume up louder. Tonight I'm gonna sing it in my head. Start to be a little bit prouder. I hum those songs till I end up dead. Productive nights I've had before. Don't lead me through that door. I create some, let it fall. Tonight I'm gonna sing it in my head. Come on, turn the volume up louder. Tonight I'm gonna sing it in my head. Start to be a little bit prouder. I hum those songs till I end up dead. Tonight I'm gonna turn it up louder. Tonight I'm gonna scream it from my chest. Tonight.
Hello and welcome back to Lewis Talk City. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already for more Manchester City content. I hope that everybody is well. Thank you to Jam Merchants for letting me use their music in the intro. It was a disappointing result. I'm still a bit ill, by the way, but it was a disappointing result. One that there's a load of key talking points about, and about if Maresca can put them to bed. So today I'll be covering the disappointing loss against Arsenal in the Community Shield. The first thing that I wanted to do is talk about Big Don. Okay, Big Don, we all know that claiming from crosses and playing with the ball at his feet is a key problem, but I was shocked today, really, really shocked. Normally Don's key assets are his save percentage and his shot stopping ability, which today was absolutely terrible. All 3 goals he had a major part to play in, and to think that you can concede the ball, like concede 3 times and it's down to your keeper. You know, he was terrible performance from him. But it's one of them that I look at and I go, he needs to be a lot better of a goalkeeper. He's taken the new number 1 shirt, and with that number 1 shirt comes responsibilities. It still came when he was the number 26 or whatever. But a lot is needed from Donnarumma. If we're going to win the league, Donnarumma has to play a key part as he's the keeper. And not everything was down to Big Don today. But what I can tell you is it was shocking that basically we went from a Donnarumma whose reason why we had him was his save percentage and things like that, to now a Donnarumma that is struggling at that as well as his playing with the ball, commanding his box and other problems. as I said, his key assets are his save percentage and shot stopping ability, which today was absolutely terrible. He was at fault today, and it is honestly worse than I expected from him because normally I'd expect that side of his game to be all right, his saving and his shot stopping. And then the downside of his game is the passing ability and other bits. He was absolutely, yeah, terrible compared to what I expected. The amount of space that Calafiori had for the first goal. This isn't about Donnarumma. This is about the defense. The amount of space that Calafiori had for the first goal was incredible. Absolutely incredible. Diaz and Kushinov were too far apart, and he was able to come through the pitch without being stopped or contested by anybody. You know, and you look at that, and he was it. Arsenal started off passing the ball around, and City couldn't get it off them. None of the players were contested by anybody. None of the Arsenal players, and with City, you expect better. You expect us to play better. You expect us to win the ball back in the first part of the game. You expect it that someone will draw a foul, someone will pull someone back and make a tactical foul, even early in the game, because sometimes you'll get a yellow card, sometimes you won't, to stop that piece of play. But it didn't happen, and we went and conceded from it straight away. Um, but yeah, Diaz and Kushinov were too far apart there. Kushinov was meant to mark his man, and he didn't. It's a key thing that I looked at it before the game when I saw the starting lineup that Abdikadir Hassanov was going to be used as a right back. I looked at it and I saw that he was going to be a right back that inverted to a centre back at times. And it was about not switching off, staying to your man, which he wasn't able to do. Um, but yeah, Calafiori and everyone there was just not contested at all, and it was a real shame. The second goal came from an Ødegaard ball into the box onto Tazolis, to Havertz, and then to Havertz, and then Dom was at fault yet again. He was a bit unlucky. It went from his chest and then up and down onto his head, but really he should have done better with that one. Um, Yet again, another done mistake, but the defending was poor as well, and that's what we need to look at. It was key for Don to play well, and he should have done way better. Originally, it looked like he'd whacked it into his net, but actually, what happened instead was it came off of his head and bounced into the net. But I was really shocked by Donnarumma's there, as I've already said multiple times, just because of the fact that he wasn't any good at what we brought him in to be good at, And I was thinking maybe Luis Enrique got rid of him because he can't do the ball playing ability, but also he saw something that we didn't, which was the fact that even his shot stopping and save percentage weren't as great as we originally thought. Um, yeah, Dom was at fault. You could say he was unlucky, but it went onto his head, and then he should have done better, really. Towards the final 5 minutes of the first half, we actually played well. We really did, and I thought that this would carry on in the second half, but it just didn't. Some of the players I looked at and I went, that's really good. I thought that Foden played well. I thought that Anderson played well. He crossed the ball into, I think it was Haaland, and Haaland should have done better with it, but he sort of lost his footing a little when we were down. I think 1-0 at that point. But yeah, it really surprised me the fact that you know you see good players, good glimpses, and we were really good for the final 5 minutes of the first half, and you expect to come out in the second half and play that well, and it just doesn't happen. Um, but yeah, really shocked with that one. I was surprised that surprise is the key word, isn't it? Um, when Jack came onto the pitch just before the second half had resumed, is when he was training, he was moving the ball slowly, and he literally just he looked like he was trying to get some air instead of getting ready to play, which was a bit of a weird one. He wasn't really doing major movements or anything, and I just thought, oh, maybe he won't play, and then he went and came out in the second half. When he did play, he looked like a player that hadn't played in a long time, which, to be fair to him, he hasn't. But you could obviously tell because he wasn't really offering much. Um, that's the thing with Jack. he's been out for a long time. He wasn't offering much. Should we really have called upon him? We know that Jeremy was we think Jeremy was injured. Every app seems to show it when you look at it, especially like FUTMob and things like that. But also certain people have said that he's injured. And we know that Jeremy got an injury in the World Cup. But still, I would have personally not brought Jack on. I don't think that he should have played. And now, uh, after I said the other day that I'd give him another chance, and I don't think he should get that another chance. I've literally changed, flip flopped constantly, but it's one of them that I look at now, and personally, he probably doesn't deserve that chance just because he didn't really offer us much. But I guess if he plays more and things like that, maybe he will be a good player. But at the moment, he didn't do much. He didn't bring much, and I feel that he won't be any good until he gets consistent minutes, and can't see him doing well until he's had a full month of training and significant minutes, which at City he may not get. Maybe at Everton he'll get significant minutes, and he should have loads of training in that in the next month, 2 months. But you could just tell that he hadn't played in a while, which is not really a fault to him because it was Maresca that brought him on. But if you're bringing on an injured player like Jack, who was good a couple of seasons ago, but now we're just sort of reminiscing and trying to bring him in. I know that Jeremy was injured, but still, you probably shouldn't expect that much from a player that's came to the squad yet again, who got loaned out to Everton, was good there, and then got injured and hasn't really played much. You shouldn't expect much from a player like that. You shouldn't bring them on in the Community Shield or the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup when you're 2-3 nil down. I think it was 2-0 at that point because it was just before the game started back up. Um, to be the hero and the person that you're looking for to try and score those goals, get those assists, because he can't really offer you that much. Um, you know, um, the third and final goal, the goal was Foden's fault, to be honest. Um, Kovacic won the ball back, which he then passed to Anderson, who then passed to Phil, and he should have turned, but instead passed back into danger. The ball then bobbled around in the penalty box, which led to Dom being sat down and Ødegaard scoring into a net with no one in it. Um, Easy move from Arsenal. Really, Foden should have taken the ball and turned there, but instead he decides to pass back, and then it just messes up from there. I guess you could say, well, a third goal, it doesn't really matter. We were 2 goals down, but I still think when you are 2 goals down and still showing some sign of positivity, which we did in the final 5 minutes of the first half, you still have a little minimal chance. But when we got to 3, I just knew that nothing was gonna come of it. Probably should have been more than 3. We probably should have had a goal or 2, but it's just one of those things. City didn't look good. Um, but yeah, it was poor from Foden on that one. I want to say big credit to Arsenal because they looked like they wanted to fight for the ball. They upped the intensity, defending with every man, and we just sort of wanted to keep possession, progress the ball slowly, which they didn't want us to do. And we were the team that lacked the intensity and the cutting edge. Um, yeah, it's one of them that I look at and I go, we did lack the intensity, we did lack the cutting edge, and they were sort of just happy for us to have the ball with Donnarumma. He'll pass out to his centre backs. After he passes out to his centre backs, they'll look for a loose ball and try to press us. But yeah, one of them that you look at and you just go that in the future something needs to be done about Don's passing. We know that it was he was training on it the past week with I think Richard Wright, the keeper coach, but I could be wrong. After training sessions, and it's just something that you look at. And Trafford was the key last time when we faced them in the Carabao Cup because we had the um attack not moving, and they had to boot it along with Kepa Balaga. And when he booted it up the field, we managed to win it easily with headers. Yet when Trafford booted it, we managed to get past them easily um, and bypass their press, which wasn't much. Um, but Yeah, with Donnarumma, it's completely different because his playing out the back with the football is just not what he's good at. His saves today, not good. Shot stopping, not good. But yeah, they look like they wanted it more. They look like they wanted to prove that they can go and maybe win the league again, which I know there's the Community Shield curse, which means they may not be able to do what they want in winning the league. But it's just one of them where you look at and you go, we did lack the intensity. Is that because of the World Cup? Maybe it is, but you know, from a position of look, Arsenal had a position of strength in that game, and you know, it's one of them that you look at and just say fair play to them because they wanted to win the game. They wanted to fight for every ball. Every time that the we had the ball, they got back. They tried to defend. Every man was behind the ball, which shows that they're a team. It's not individuals, and that they were all fighting for the same thing. Kovacic should not have been the number 6. He's not good enough. And it actually shocks me that Nico Gonzalez came into the squad so late. He must have came in with 10, 15 minutes left to play. And I looked at it and I said, why is Kovacic still playing? He's too slow. He doesn't do much with the ball and he's just not good enough. And he clearly isn't the Rodri replacement. Someone else is needed, like a Boadi or something. Because you cannot have Kovacic as the number 6. I know you'd say 2 8s, but sorry. I know you'd say that he's one of the 2 8s, but he's more like a number 6, and you can't have him there as the number 6, as the Rodri replacement. Um, After Arsenal scored early, the whole game plan that Maresca would have set up completely changes, which is one of the key things because Maresca would have come into this game saying, right, get the first goal and then sort of just keep possession, try to bypass them because they'll need to come out at us. Yeah, that completely changed when they scored within 28 seconds. Um, Maresca's game plan after we conceded the first one would have probably been keep possession, build up structure, avoid becoming too aggressive immediately and leaving more space behind and increase the urgency of finding an equaliser and try to bypass Arsenal's press. Um, that didn't work out well. They managed to score 2 more, and I think it shows that Maresca doesn't really know his team well enough, whereas the likes of Arteta knows his players, knows the ability and what they can bring. And I think he knows Maresca a bit as well and the weaknesses that Maresca has. And I think that's one of the key reasons why he was able to beat us today. Where was my next note that I had? I, to be honest, I didn't expect an amazing performance, and I didn't think that it could go. I did think that it could go either way, but conceding in that manner was not what I thought would happen. We knew that Pep was going to leave the football club, and that it was going to be a hole, but we didn't know if Maresca could fill that hole. Personally, I don't think this game really impacts it that much. I don't think that this game will sort of say, "Oh, this is why Maresca did this." When we look at the Maresca next year, because it's one of the first games with the full squad, or the first game of the full squad, and he's been given what 2 or 3 days with him, so not much. Um, but yeah, we knew that Pep was leaving, and it's about uh, that hole in that hole at the football club if it can be filled. Because with Pep, it was more about every single play you've got to is sort of like patterns of play being, for instance, say Savigno would go forward, Pep would try and control every move that he did. Whereas with Maresca, he offers more freedom. Is it that the more freedom and that kind of stuff is what the players are sort of falling back on and going, oh, yeah, look, it's all right because Maresca's not that harsh on us. He's a nice bloke and he'll just let us be more creative. Is that going to positively benefit us like we saw in pre season with the likes of Semenyo on the left wing? Or will it negatively impact us, which will then lead to players not doing what they're told and things like that? That's for the future, but it's just something I'd look at because Maresca and Pep, although similar, are quite different. And going forward, you have to see how the players react if he loses the dressing room, which that would, I mean, to lose the dressing room, we'd have to lose consistently week in, week out. But yeah, it'd be a weird one to see if the players start listening to him, if they don't, and all that, because he's not as commanding as the likes of Arteta and Pep Guardiola on the side of the touchline. Today, Erling looked up to the heavens, and today we probably needed it. He was a bit frustrated after something, and he looked up in the sky, and I think it was when we conceded the third one, and we probably did need some help today because, you know, it was shocking the performance. But there you go. Um, I'd like to remind people that most of the players only came back a few days ago, and I don't think that this would be the only time we see this type of thing, as I feel other clubs will struggle because of the World Cup and the impact that that has on the players. Um, but yeah, what I would say is the impact that um the World Cup is having on the players is huge, as it feels like it's only been like a few weeks since the World Cup finished. And for those players like Erling, like your Nico, your Anderson, they haven't really had much time to spend with Enzo Maresca. So I do feel that even other teams, maybe a Liverpool or something, will sort of fall off a little in the first couple of games just because of the World Cup and people not having full squads, or people having full squads but those players getting injured or things like that. Um Overall, anyone that is saying Maresca get out my club, please give your head a wobble. Um, this doesn't mean much. We have 38 games coming up, and by next week, everyone could be loving Maresca, going, "Oh, we beat Bournemouth." So it's one of them that I look at. Take it with a pinch of salt. This game could mean a lot. I mean, Liverpool last season when they played in the Community Shield, they went and lost, but at the same time, they had a poor season. With City, we could lose the Community Shield and have a really good season. You know what the curse is like and things like that. Which, if you believe in it, there you go. If you don't, then you don't. But yeah, one to watch out. Is it going to be like Liverpool last season? Personally, I don't think it is. I don't think we'll have a terrible season and because we lost today. Whereas with Liverpool, they lost to Palace and then had a terrible season. First couple of games started off well, but the performances weren't well, but the results were. I think last season, I could be wrong, was when, oh, who did he score against? Was it Salah against Burnley or something with the 95th minute penalty? And in that performance, they looked absolutely shocking, yet he managed to save them. Personally, I don't think we'll personally have that. Um, I think that we will bounce back, but it's just one of them to look at just in case, you know. Um, but yeah, at the end of the game, when the fans were clapped by the manager and players, Maresca didn't talk to any of his players, which I'm actually happy with. He wasn't talking to them when they were clapping the fans. Sometimes you'll see Pep talk to him, sometimes you won't. And to be honest, I'm happy with this. It will now have time to think about today and how to improve on the way home. From Cardiff without talking to everyone about it. He'll be under pressure if he keeps losing games, but I think at the moment he doesn't deserve lots of pressure, and loads of questions will arise in people's heads. They'll be asked it in the future. They'll say them this week for the future. Is he good enough? Can he replace Pep? All of these kind of things. Yeah, at the moment, he doesn't really deserve lots of pressure, and questions that will arise will hopefully be put to bed next Sunday if we can beat Bournemouth. If we don't, then questions have to be asked, of course. But at the moment, um, he didn't beat Arsenal, but he may go and beat Bournemouth and then may do well throughout the season. So. But I've been streaming for 24 minutes now. Big up to everyone who's been here. Like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Put your opinions in the comments. And yeah, peace.